I'm an RPG gamer, and so, like, loading screens are a thing.
And we are live! Hello everybody, Scott back here, and do I have something to tell you about what happened this week at E3? And I'm not going to commentate on this alone. I've got Dr. Knealetapus, the host from REACTAHOLIcs, joining me as we reflect on what happened at E3. What do you mean I'm lying? You're a deceitful one.
You're alone. I'm not here. I'm the computer generated and you're lying.
That pretty much sums up one of the games that was in the convention. But no, me and Neil are going to look back on the previous conferences. We actually reacted together on the Xbox conference. We looked at part of the Ubisoft conference, a bit of the PC conference, and of course, the Nintendo conference and the Square Enix conference. And now, this is just our thoughts on the whole thing.
It's almost like we're friends or something. It's like we were friends watching E3 together. Like,
I wonder why.
We're strictly co-workers. There is no friendship here. It's just, I come in, we see each other at the office, and occasionally we chat. That's our relationship.
Our offices being the bedroom desks.
Our offices traditionally being our individual bedrooms.
This could be the start of a beautiful acquaintanceship.
No. This is a co-worker thing. There's no friendship, no acquaintanceship. Strictly, I know who you are, you know who I am, and that's it.
I know your name. So first of all, let's talk about the Xbox conference. You and I and Kyle took a look at this, and we had some general thoughts like, "Oh, this is cool." And some other folks were like, "Okay, maybe not quite as cool as some other bits, but it was big. Some a lot."
Can I say something controversial?
Go ahead.
A lot of people are saying that Xbox won this year, that Microsoft took it. I don't think so.
Ooh.
Like, they were fine. They were fine, I guess, but you know, they weren't. Okay, they showed a lot of stuff, and everything they showed was pretty good. It almost felt like they were like, Sony's not going to be here this year, so let's try our best to strike out and sort of take this year.
It wasn't.
Their biggest surprise was the Blair Witch game, right?
Yeah. Who'd have thought that'd be a AAA game based on an indie film?
It's an Arkham series, which is sort of just like it's very animated series-esque. So what I always tell people is, if you like the animated series, you're going to love the Arkham games.
Yeah, I mentioned that in the Batman episode. I personally think the video game series is a great predecessor to the animated series. But going back to the Xbox...
I view it as an adaptation.
Fair enough.
Yeah, going back to Xbox, you're right. Blair Witch was a pleasant surprise. Like, you were there, Callum. I thought it was a Slender game.
Yeah. Oh, Slender. Is Slender losing weight more than usual? Does Slender have a pet dog?
Kyle got into it. He was like, is it Slender? And he's like,
It's not Slender. But close, but no cigar. Or burning steak.
I mean, I feel like that's one of the bigger surprises of E3 in general, that we're getting this Blair Witch horror game that's made by the same people who did Layers of Fear, and we know how good Layers of Fear was. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I've never been a big Blair Witch guy, but maybe this is how I get into it. Maybe this is my gateway drug.
Hey, buddy. Here's some Blair Witch Project stuff.
You want some Blair Witch? I got some Blair Witch. Start off on something simple like the game, then I'll get you into the movies, man.
I'm so sorry.
I liked Jason in Mortal Kombat, and then I started watching the movies, and I was like, you know what? These are good. And I like them. But, yeah, what did you like from... before we even talk about Microsoft, because I'm convinced you didn't even see this conference. Did you see EA's?
The what?
Oh, you didn't see it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So even though we had the schedule up, for whatever the reason, the schedule we had didn't mention EA.
Oh, yeah. We skipped EA because, of course, they're the devil of video game development. Yes.
Well, I sat down, and I started to watch it.
Right.
But it was 2 hours long, so then I immediately stopped. Usually I can watch the press conferences. But something about EA's this year just was like, Kneale, get out of here. Get out of here. And instead I watched a video titled EA's Press Conference in 20 Minutes, which essentially talked about all the games and showed all the trailers, but instead of being 2 hours long, it was 20 minutes. And I gotta say, first of all, and I guess this could be a little review of the conference in general, that 20-minute video dragged. So I can only imagine the 2-hour version.
And we watched hours of conferences, and they didn't feel like they dragged on. They got straight to the point with the talking, and then showing the game, and then talking, and going straight to the game. That just goes to show how much EA sucks.
I will talk about my 2 favorite conferences here in a minute, but in terms of EA, it just felt like they were there, and they were trying to justify why they were there. But instead of justifying it, they just talked for 2 hours. And normally, I can get into that stuff. But it was just about stuff that wasn't interesting. Like the Star Wars thing, yeah, I could sit there and hear them talk about this new droid, which the best part of the E3 EA conference was that droid. Because I love that droid. I love its design. I love everything about it. I think it's called BBD or something. I don't know, but I love that droid. So I'm glad we got that. And then they talked about Sims. A few sports games, which I didn't care about.
Who cares about sports?
The big one was the Star Wars game. The big one was like, oh, no, we're going to talk about the Star Wars game. So they talk about it. And then a day later, Microsoft has their press conference. And they show in the Microsoft conference a better trailer for the game. Which is essentially what happened last year with Kingdom Hearts and Square Enix, where Square Enix showed the Frozen trailer that was in Microsoft's conference. But then the day later, Sony showed off Pirates of the Caribbean.
Wasn't struck a pirate when said pirate offers to confabulate.
I mean, this one is a little better because at least they showed a new trailer too. But at the same time, it's just like, EA, what are you doing? Why didn't you show both trailers during your conference? I mean, during the Avengers A-Day game, they showed like 12 trailers.
I think everything you just said pretty much sums up EA in general, really. They fool you into thinking there's something cool, but it's all talk, it's all give us your money just to make us more exploitative.
Yeah, but it was so long, like not even kidding, EA by far was the worst conference this year.
It's the worst video game company.
I remember them doing okay. I mean, I'm sure there's worse. Like, who's the game company that's still making the Bubsy games after, like, 12 disasters?
Or Phoenix Games for the PlayStation 2.
Hey, wait, what kind of Phoenix games? Because I'm with the name Phoenix.
Yeah, not the Phoenix Wright games, but these stupid Disney rip-off games. Yeah. I'm a Professor Layton fan myself. But going back to the Xbox conference. I will look for you. I will find you, and I will bring you to court. Godot arrives and just goes, good luck. So going back to the Xbox conference.
I mean, yeah, so we finished.
EA.
Yeah, people are going to be like, is that really all EA was?
Yeah.
Star Wars, a few sports games, then they talked about Sims. And then the next day, Microsoft talked about Star Wars better, so...
Just straight to the point.
Yeah, that Star Wars game looks pretty good.
Fallen Order.
Again, I love that. Droid is the best thing.
Yeah, so it's going to be some...
He, like, climbs on your shoulder.
Aww. So that's going to be quite an engaging story.
We're going to talk about the Microsoft trailer now.
Alright.
In the Microsoft trailer, it literally begins with, like, the main character, and by the way, I think the game's called Jedi Fallen Order or something like that.
Yeah, it's Fallen Order, yes.
He goes in and starts attacking these AT-ATs. And then, out of nowhere, a guy falls on the little window for the AT-ATs, and it's Saul Guerrero from Rogue One.
Oh!
So, yeah, we're going to get more of a Saul Guerrero story, and apparently it's canon to the games. So...
Nice!
It's canon to the movies.
Nice! Yeah.
So we can only hope that, like, this is like, this is what happened before Rogue One. And some cool shit like that.
You know, all this talk about games being canonized in the lore of certain things, I recently heard rumors that this point-and-click adventure game company was going to make a game centered around Gollum from Lord of the Rings, which I'm really excited about. So, basically, going to be like, what, a Telltale adventure game, but you get to play as Gollum, and I heard rumors that there's going to be back and forth banter with the mental state of Smeagol and Gollum and making moral choices, and that should be really interesting.
I hope it's real.
Yes.
It would be interesting if the game like recommends you play the two different characters, like of both Smeagol and Gollum, differently, but at the same time you still choose dialogue.
Yeah. Master's my friend.
Because that's essentially arguing with yourself.
Yes. Yes. And then going back, so now we're moving on to the Xbox conference. Yes, the Star Wars advert was awesome, and then there was also Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I adored Ori and the Blind Forest. Such a great game, one of my all-time favorite video games. Yeah, I really like it. It's one of my all-time favorites. It's really emotional, really addicting, really immersive, got that sort of Studio Ghibli vibes to it, which I really adored. And it's really great to play, and they're making a sequel, which is excellent. It's going to carry on the legacy of what happened from the last game. And from this recent trailer, they're showing off the big monsters, and from some of them, I can safely say, nope, my sister is not going to enjoy this because she hates spiders.
I didn't know you had a sister.
Well, there you go. I have a sister. Much like I didn't know you had a grandma and a brother. That sounds so stupid. I didn't know you had a grandma.
Somebody had to prove this.
That sounded so stupid. So
I didn't know you had parents.
So after Ori and the Will of the Wisps, with all the emotions and all the fears that are being built up, all the creative visuals, then they were talking about some other things. They were talking about the indie games. I was astonished that the vast majority of them were hand-drawn animated, traditionally animated 2D drawings, and they look incredible.
Yeah, I was also impressed by that. Which, by the way, just quick disclaimer, we're not going to talk about everything that was shown. We don't have notes here.
Yeah.
We're just talking about what we liked.
Yeah, and what we can remember, but...
So, yeah, we probably want to talk about, I don't know, Call of Duty Shoot-A-Man.
Call of Duty is so overrated. But no, the indie games look so interesting, so intriguing, and the fact that they were hand-drawn animated was an extra bonus. There was one with this young brown-skinned girl going around with these animal people building these ships, and it looked really incredible, just the energy of it all. And there was this one game that it looks like reminiscent of primary school sketchbooks that you make as a younger kid, or even during your high school. Yes, remember it. Yes, and along with a few stop-motion, cardboardy-esque visuals, I thought that was quite intriguing. And now that I'm starting to remember, there was this one game where it seems like some kind of mystery, supernatural thriller from the top down. You basically, the God perspective. You're looking at it from above.
I remember that. Where you were in the time loop?
Yeah, and Kneale, you made the joke where you said, "Wow, such riveting emotions. You can tell by their faces."
No, the joke specifically was, wow, you can really tell by the top of their heads that this is really breaking. Just look at the emotion in their foreheads.
Johnny, I can't live without you. Did you write to me? Of course I wrote to you.
Yeah, that's how it was. Listen, I can get into that. I understand that it's an artistic choice, but at the same time, how am I supposed to feel for these characters?
Oh.
If they all, it's just the top of their head.
To be fair,
I mean, I'm sure I can get into it, but that bugged me a little.
To be fair, I think that takes advantage of other aspects like body movement and vocal performances, much like how Fantasia had no dialogue, so it had to take advantage of the music and the visuals. But yeah, it's still funny detail, like you pointed out.
Also, they talked about Gears of War a whole bunch.
Gears of War 5.
They had a weird trailer which was like, look how artsy we are, look how artsy we
Just
are.
like the first game.
About the Funko Pops. And I was like, okay, whatever. We did an episode about this, and then they're like, oh, Funko Pops are their own game. And I was like, why? Like, okay, I'm not against a Funko Pop game, but why is it just the Gears of War Pops? Like, I don't get it. Why are you specifically making a spin-off game of Gears of War with specifically the Gears of War Funko Pops? Like, why not just do a chibi spin-off game? You don't need it to be Funkos.
It worked for Avatar: The Last Airbender. Why not here? Also, how dare you?
The Last Airbender?
ha- they had these
Didn't?
they had these chibi models for some animated spin-off stuff. Um,
I don't think they had Funko Pops though. Which
no, not Funko Pop, but cheap chibi stuff. Yeah,
Avatar did get a Funko line.
right.
That Funko line actually just came out. I thought about getting Toph.
All right, yes. I would love to get Uncle Iroh. But anyway, there was some other aspects such as, how dare you betray that alien with a kitten? How dare you, you sick people? How dare you blow up a kitten?
Oh yeah, they blew up a kitten, and for a brief minute, I convinced everybody in the room watching me with it that it was a real cat. Even though they briefly showed it with like a punch I was like, oh my god, they blew up a kitten.
You deceive us. But yes, that's still kind of messed up either way.
I mean, it's just a stuffed animal. I mean, I could blow up a stuffed animal.
No, we're ending this out yet. So, other things. Speaking of Gears of War 5, they were getting a lot of attention for that. To the point where they literally blew their stage in half.
Callum, I think you're ignoring the most important thing that was announced at E3. The Lego DLC for that one racing game.
Oh, that took me completely by surprise, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, everybody was shocked. Like, there were actual freaking surprises at this E3, and
Oh.
jaw dropped when it's like, what, Legos in this?
Yeah, that was incredible. That was astounding. At first I just thought, another boring driving game. It's like, another driving game. Just give us Mario Kart already. Then the Lego man came in and I thought, wait, what? And they started playing, everything is awesome! And then everything just started getting Lego 5, and I thought, oh!
Yeah, and then that car they showed, the light comes up, and it's revealed, oh, that's a Lego car. And I was like, what?
They made that.
It was just weird, man.
That is the best generic car game advert I have ever seen so far as of recording this. Yeah, that was incredible.
I mean, you keep hearing about all these
Surprise.
DLCs for Rocket League. Like, the new one is they just got Ghostbusters. Why not do Lego now? Because, why not? Sounds like Lego's available.
Yeah. And so, I love Lego, so also looking forward to the new Lego Star Wars game, which will apparently have the whole saga, and they're going to wait until the next film comes out before releasing it next year. And love the humor of those games. There's Vader cuts off Luke's hand, and goes, puts off his Lego hand, offers it to him, and then showing off the biggest snowman. They just going, what? Yeah, that was good. I love the Lego games. Great for each generation. Then going back to Gears of War 5, they're
very...
Sorry?
They're very childhood related to me. Like, me and my cousin, I remember us playing the first ever Lego Star Wars, and there's this one thing where you're in Jabba's palace.
Mm-hmm.
And towards the beginning, you can only play as R2 and C-3PO.
Yeah.
And both of us were arguing who gets to play as R2, because C-3PO is just really slow and kind of useless.
And R2-D2 can hover. Well, C-3PO...
Yeah, but also in those games, R2-D2 has a taser.
I guess C-3PO does speak millions of languages, so give him props for that. Also...
But you gotta realize, back in the day, those Lego games didn't have those.
No, it wasn't.
Power is useless.
It wasn't until variations of. It wasn't until Lord of the Rings that they started talking, and even when they started talking, that led to some hysterical jokes, such as King Theoden, "My body is broken." It's literally just the figure getting cut in half with the leg bits off.
I mean, here's the thing. I feel like this is how older people felt when, like, music started getting bad, because when the Legos started talking, I was like, no. Why? And I get that it's probably a smart decision, but at the same time, it was like, why are you doing it? It just really upset me in the moment. I remember when it was like, the next Lego Batman will have voice acting, and I was like, no. That was fine.
No, still that's some great jokes, even with the dialogue in. But going back to Gears of War 5, they really emphasized that a lot. Like I said earlier with the Phil Swift joke, they blew this stage in half! That's literally what they did. Then the camera just went in. There was this whole space station underneath the stage! And then it showed off the Gears of War...
That was for Prey, dude. That was for Prey.
That was for Prey?
Wait, was it?
No, it was...
Was it for Prey?
No, I'm pretty sure it was for Gears of War 5. It was soon afterward,
it was for Doom or something.
No, no, that was for Gears of War 5. They showed it off in that particular fashion.
Maybe it's stupid.
Maybe the blind. But they showed off the Gears of War 5 trailer, some kind of cooperative mission mode you can do now. They were going to play Go Off the Rails and the Crazy Train, but they did some stupid dubsteppy version of it, which me and Neil didn't really like.
Yeah, I remember just freaking out and going, they're gonna play Crazy Train, and then getting excited because, it's been a while since I have heard the song Crazy Train. And then they did like a rap thing, but with the Crazy Train, like, the dun 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 dun. And I got so upset. I remember just going, why are they doing this? And I just got really mean for a little bit, and I was like, I remember Kyle saying, oh, I really love this, it's so cool, and I was like, They've hurt me bad.
It's okay, Neil. The pain is over.
I just wanted to hear Crazy Train.
It's okay.
I'm kidding. Afterwards, like, Kyle was like, should we play Crazy Train? Like, does that make you feel better? And I was like, no. The moment is gone.
And it seemed like they were...
I'm not even kidding. Had they just played Crazy Train, I know no one else cares about this with me, but had they just played Crazy Train, I probably would have liked that trailer. Like, I probably would have been like, yes, really
We just gotta love those classic rock songs. We love it when it's actual music, not attempt to make it cool. Making it cool does not make it cool. You can only be cool when you were originally cool.
They put rap shit in. I wasn't even listening to the rap stuff they put in, so it very well could have been good. But I was just really upset. I was like, why?
You might as well just replace it with...
This is my opinion on Gears of War. So if anyone ever wants to know my opinion, here it is. I don't care. I don't care about it. I don't. Could have had to play Crazy Train. Maybe I would have been like, oh, well, maybe this game. Maybe I can get into it. No, I do not care. It's not my type of game. I've played it a few times. It's fun. It's not my thing.
Although what did catch our interest was the surprise when we saw a similar-looking shot of all these skulls and then a metallic foot going... You go up and you see a familiar-looking robot with a chainsaw arm. The Terminator. Me and Neil were what? The Terminator in Gears of War?
I were like, what? But Kyle was like, this looks like Terminator.
And just rises up with that music. And
I was like, oh, Kyle, you did it. And he did that again. I don't think we were video chatting for this one, but there was another one where Kyle was like, this sounds like Terminator music. And then Terminator shit happened again, and Kyle predicted it right before.
yeah, they showed Terminator again the next day, just a brief, infamous glowing eyes. Just dun, 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 dun.
All right, so let's finish up and talk about Halo, and then let's move on to Bethesda.
I'll talk about a few other things regarding Xbox, but yeah, the Xbox Infinite, the one where we went, there it is, there's him holding the helmet, we can go home now, bye! Some interviews of them making the game, and then...
Yeah, there's Halo.
Okay, bye. And then we show the actual trailer, which some man looking at some recordings of his wife on this hologram thingy. I thought it was Alien Isolation 2 because the tech looked similar, but it wasn't. The moment he wiped the window, you see Master Chief, the music plays. Dum, 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 dum. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's Halo Infinite.
Yeah, not even kidding. I don't know what was wrong with me. My brain just wasn't registering that was Master Chief. So when it closed in on something outside, I was like, what's going on? Let's see what's outside. And the entire time it's just showing a shot of Master Chief just laying in space, and I'm like, what's going on? Is that shit?
Space. I see it all. Yes.
Well, I could see the TV fine. It's just for some reason my brain wasn't like, this is Master Chief. So I was just like, what?
You need your
And then somebody said,
spectacles.
Master Chief. And I was like, oh, okay.
So yeah, so basically he survived space, and then they showed him from the perspective of the helmet, and then the graphics artist thought, hang on, wait a minute, is this still the trailer, or is this actual gameplay?
Yeah, we were weird about that. I don't think they showed actual gameplay.
No, it must have been just
I mean,
the
maybe
trailer.
just a brief thing, this helmet first shows up, maybe that was gameplay. But, I don't know.
Yeah, basically diving into a new Halo just to blow up, and then you and I had a discussion. He was going through this room full of holographic stuff, and then familiar sounding female voice, and we both of us thought, wait, Cortana? But she died in Halo 4.
Yeah. I want to be clear. You said that, and Kyle said that. I didn't play Halo 4, so I was like, oh, Cortana's back. By the way, in case case you're curious about my opinions on Halo, here they are.
I don't care. I love. I love how you.
Microsoft has never really been my thing.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of Halo either. It's just something I've known just from being exploited for the internet for so many years. Cortana dies in Halo 4. What a magnificent performance!
Such a hurry to get off the Microsoft topic.
All right.
Yeah, the Blair Witch game looked pretty good.
Okay,
Besides that, I'm like,
Okay, let's talk about something equally enthralling for you, Neil. Let's talk about the flight simulator.
okay, let me paint a picture for everybody. Let me paint a picture. So I see these beautiful graphics, these amazing graphics, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't know what this is, but it looks amazing. I'm really excited. And then, who was also there, but much more quiet than everyone else, says, oh, it's a flight simulator. And I said, Jaron, it's not a flight simulator. They would have wasted a minute. And I was getting really interested, and I was like, dang, this is going to be so cool. And then they kept showing the plane. And I was like, I started getting ready, and I was like, no, if they do that, it's stupid. If they do that, no, that's so dumb. And then it pops up on the screen, flight simulator. Why is this just a flight simulator? There's so much potential here. You could have had a story-based game. Take place in an airplane. Maybe driving the airplane is part of the game. There's potential to you. Shut up. I just got angry. Microsoft made me so angry.
Microsoft, you make me angry, Microsoft. You could have used one of these, Microsoft. A story.
Isn't it in Microsoft where there was a developer whose name was Jerk?
That's right. There were some bizarre names. I think it was for Wolfenstein. It was a...
of the names. Favorite of the names was Dinga Kabata. That's my favorite.
You suggested it to Kyle, and it was great. But Jerk, Matt, I can't take that seriously. His first name is Jerk, and he's German, and he worked on Wolfenstein 2.
Wolfenstein was definitely Bethesda, so I don't think we're ready to talk about that yet.
Yeah, but just the funny names. Thanks for the game.
There was one time, I actually got really excited during the Microsoft press conference, and it was like this MMO-style game. There was a dude who had a unicorn.
Oh yeah, Fantasy Story Online. It was by Sega.
Fantasy Story Online, or whatever.
Fantasy Star, sorry.
Super pumped.
Only for it to be on Xbox.
I was super pumped, and I out loud said, I can't wait to get this game! And then Kyle looks to me and goes, Neil, you don't have an Xbox.
You don't have an Xbox.
Wait, you're right, no! I start flipping out.
Sorry, you don't have an Xbox. That was my impersonation of Kyle.
It actually interests me.
Yeah, but I've no doubt you'll get that game whenever you get the chance. But going back to Jerk, I'm sorry if you're watching this, Jerk, but there's so many jokes you could get to that. Thanks for the game, Jerk. Oh, hand me the coffee, Jerk. Hey, Jerk, get over here. Oh, wait, there was a surname. Oh, there was someone's surname. Was it Bottom? Jerk. Yeah, it was Bottom, right? Someone's surname was Bottom.
I don't think so, because you were making fun of last names, and you brought up Longbottom.
It was.
I think his last name was like Butters.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Bottom.
We don't have notes. We're not.
Yeah, then I suggested. Could you imagine if he was called Jerk Bottom or something? And then you made a dirty joke, and then we just moved on.
Look, I like the name Jerk, but I'm not gonna rewatch all the press conferences just to find that kind of stuff.
There was something else in the Xbox conference, but I think that was more or less it. So I guess that's us moving.
All I cared about.
Yeah, and then there was was it Bethesda or Ubisoft that was next? It was Bethesda, right?
Bethesda was.
Yeah, Bethesda was next. There seems to be some new Elder Scrolls game, which is not too different from Skyrim, and it seems to be on the Switch. There seems to be an ongoing series of Elder Scrolls Online.
Actually, it's also on phones. It's called Elder Scrolls Blade. They announced it last year. It's a phone game, but it's also going to be on the Switch.
Alright. And they're announcing out some other titles. There was...
Look, I'm just going to be real. Bethesda kind of sucked this year. They didn't talk about anything good. They talked a lot about Elder Scrolls Online DLC, expansion packs. They talked a lot about trying to make Fallout 76 good.
Yeah!
There was a lot of stuff that I thought was already in Fallout 76 And then I find out it wasn't. Like, they're like, oh, we're adding a story mode. And I'm like, that wasn't there. And they're like, oh, we're going to add some human NPCs. And I was like, you didn't have those? And just all this stuff where it's like, what were you guys doing? Like, why? Why do you have to come back a year later and, like, fix a game? Like, I didn't buy it. I almost bought it, but I didn't. My cousin paid, like, $300 for the collector's edition. And he was so disappointed with the game.
To the point where even Nostalgia Critic, who doesn't talk about video games often, made a joke in one of his reviews and then dedicated a moment just to say, a moment of silence for the people who pre-ordered Fallout 76, followed by Nelson Muntz going, So, game developers, what have we learned? Game developers, what have we learned? Don't rush your games. Take your time. Learn from Fumito Ueda. He took...
You listening, Square Enix? You listening to Avengers game that's coming out? You listening to that?
Yeah.
I've heard rumors.
Yes. So, nothing much interesting happened at Bethesda. However, there were lots of intriguing things happening with Ubisoft. The one that caught our attention was
Wait, hold on, Cal. Hold on. We can't just talk about that, and we gave Microsoft like a whole 30 minutes. We have to talk a little bit more about Bethesda.
I don't recall there was much else to say.
Well, there was plenty. There was that stupid thing that looked like an 80s cartoon, which I thought was a joke.
Oh yeah, you found that hysterical. Just the way it displayed itself like an 80s cartoon. Yeah, it was Rage 2, and it showed itself like VHS. It presented itself like an 80s cartoon.
That was funny.
Yes.
I was talking about that weird 2D thing that's going to be on phones. It's called like Space Keen or something Keen.
Yeah.
Captain Keen, I think. I don't know. But yeah, when they did that Rage 2 like VHS introduction, that had me laughing my ass off. Like, I loved that.
It was such a joy just to listen to you laugh like that.
They also talked about Doom, which was Kyle's highlight of the entire E3.
He waited around just for Doom Eternal. I have little to no interest.
It only came into the room the entire time he was there. He was like, "Hey, once Doom ends, you want to go on a walk?" And I was like, "No, I want to finish my E3." Yeah, I think. Listen, I'm not a big. I like Bethesda games more than Microsoft, but I'm not super big on them either. Like, yeah. We'll get to where I can talk.
I only really care about Elder Scrolls, really, mainly Skyrim.
Well, let's go to Ubisoft.
Yeah.
You liked it, but again, I wasn't super interested in this one. Like, I'm sure they had good stuff, but I'm trying to remember, like, oh, what did Ubisoft do?
Yeah, there was a particular highlight, and you said it went downhill, but there was a particular highlight that the both of us really loved, and this,
yeah, you're right.
This was based on a game series that I personally thought, aside from the hacking, it was fairly generic. However, this recent sequel that they've made might just change the stakes a bit. Because they showed us Watch Dogs Legion, which is apparently set in London, and there was this core gameplay mechanic which really caught our attention. Basically, the idea of the game is that you have a whole resistance of people who are trying to stop, corrupt governments and police forces to save London and do everything for God and Queen country. So God save the Queen. So the idea is that you can play as any of these resistance members. You can hire new resistance members, but it comes at a cost. All of them have the pressure of permadeath. So if one resistance members go, that's it. They're gone to meet their maker. They kick the bucket. Bye bye. And
well, I like that, but also I think I noticed something you didn't. There's this one scene where they're saving a guy, and afterwards there's some dialogue towards the guy, with the hostage situation, and it's like, you now have an option to join our team, and he chooses to join. So my idea is, first of all, if that guy would have died in the hostage situation, which also, like, the bullet shooting in this game is cool. I call it bullet shooting. This game is cool, because the main character, the lady, shot someone in the leg, and instead of dying, which lesser games, that just would have been a kill shot no matter where the bullet hit, he actually, like, goes and grabs his leg, and God, just look at how far we've come with games. But also, with this guy, he chooses to join the team, but I have a feeling like if he would have gotten hurt during the crossfire, he would have, like, not join the team. Alternatively, he could have died there. So my curiosity is, what happens if our character shoots him? Like, because if it's so detailed where we can shoot a guy in the leg, surely I can shoot the guy I'm supposed to save.
The way they've set it up is that...
means there have to be several branching paths.
Yeah, they set up all these branching paths, and they have all these options. If this person dies, someone has to take the place and do all these certain things. If you screw up on a mission, then this certain thing. If you succeed in a mission, you have all these other options. You can do it like this, you can do it like this, you can do it like so many other ways. To quote Fleetwood.
Can I just say, I really like how much of the trailer just focused on the old lady.
I love that old lady.
I just really like that they knew as soon as the game starts, that's the character I'm going to.
Yeah.
Can you play as older people? Can you also play as kids? Can you play as, like, you know, people with stories? Because I'd love to be like a 5-year-old kid shooting guns.
Can you play as a person on a wheelchair? Can you play as
I would play as a person in a wheelchair.
Whee! I'd go for the old lady anytime. I just love the fact that they even have an old lady as a playable character in open world games. I mean, we've come so far in video games to the point where you can get old ladies in games. Just take a look at Anna from Overwatch. She is such a joyful character in my eyes. Yes.
But the problem with showing Watch Dogs Legion as the first game, and
yeah, it went downhill.
The game felt like a step down. And yeah, they talked a lot about Tom Clancy games, and you know, some people like those. I'm not the world's biggest fan. I was expecting some Splinter Cell stuff, but it never came. So yeah, just Watch Dogs Legion was the biggest thing, and that's what I care to talk about most.
They just showed their best game and then just let their best game go, "Look to us, peasants!" I mean...
Here's the thing. It might be an illusion, one of those things where it's like, oh, look how cool this is, but it's not actually as cool. I hope it lives up to the hype they have created, because if they actually made, like, because I feel like we knew a game like this was going to come eventually, a game where it's essentially a story game, but literally everything you do changes the story. I hope that's what it is. I hope there's not a lot of real...
I mean, in concept, it's nothing new. I mean, the story-based gameplay where you make moral choices, that's usually for point-and-click adventures, and then also in open-world games, you'd have multiple endings, but having this combination combined with the fact that there's permadeath for certain members, there's going to be consequences like an Undertale, and...
It feels like this is...
Yeah, it's such an interesting concept, and I don't play the game because I don't have the proper softwares, but, you know, if I become a rich man, I'd get the system necessary just to play that game and just be astounded at all the different stories I could... I can't wait to see you play that game on your channel!
I mean, I don't know if I'm going to stream it. Here's the thing. I can't stream... Like, I don't know if you noticed the visual issues with Kingdom Hearts 3.
You mean Kingdom Hearts 2.9?
Yeah, that shit. I can't stream super high-quality stuff. But I'm currently streaming Phoenix Wright, and I don't care how low quality I gotta make it when SpongeBob Battle for the Bikini Bottom Rehydrated comes out. I'm gonna stream the shit out of that. Which now I want to talk about that. Because it wasn't part of E3, but it came out around the time of E3, and it's cool.
Yeah.
Just before we go to Square Enix, I want to talk about it. This is one of my favorite games ever. So, thank you, world. Thank you, Nickelodeon. Yeah, I hope it's great. I think it's going to be good. I hope they reuse some of the abandoned concepts. Like, apparently, at one point, Squidward was going to be a playable character, and there was going to be a boss battle with a Squidward-themed robot to match the Sandy and Patrick robot boss battles. So, I really hope that they just go in and add a few extra things, like, you know, really have fun with it. Sort of like go the extra mile, like Resident Evil 2 did.
Yeah, some new content. That would be great. Just like they did with the Shadow of the Colossus remake. Yeah, just, in fact,
But more than anything, just glad it exists. Just glad it's happening.
Yeah, you're gonna stream that, SpongeBob fan that you are. Speaking of remakes, there's also gonna be a Ghostbusters the video game remake. The one that was for Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. They're gonna remake that for the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, that's it. Bye. Fine game. I'm sure we'll be fine again. Like, hey, I'll enjoy playing it. Like, I'm sorry, but I hear more about a different ghost hunting video game.
Oh yeah, that ghost hunting game. Was that also in Ubisoft? No, that was PC. Oh, sorry. There are several ghost hunting games. There's one like PC Gaming Hunt, which was similar to that Soul Hunt game that Nanners and his friends play, except a bit more Ghostbusters oriented. There was the Ghostbusters game, and of course, we'll get to Nintendo later on. Going back to Ubisoft, they were mentioning some other games. There was little to no mention of Beyond Good and Evil 2, suspiciously.
I noticed that.
What are you hiding there, Ubisoft? You have shown the trailer a few years or so ago with the monkey and the pig swirling up a storm, with the black girl with the curly hair swooping off in a sort of cowboy bebop Blade Runner-ish world. I am impersonating Airflick from Hello Hello.
Oh wait, hold on, we skipped something. What company talked about Cyberpunk?
Oh,
About Cyberpunk.
I think it was Xbox. I recall you and I talking about it when we were watching it. I was thinking, ooh, Blade Runner vibes. And we were just thinking, Blade Runner vibes. I mean, it wasn't Blade Runner, but I just liked comparing it to Blade Runner.
I remember saying, oh, okay, they got Keanu Reeves now.
Yeah, they got...
Here's Keanu Reeves.
And then
He brought his dog.
Whoa.
Keanu Reeves brought his dog out live on stage. And, I'm not against that, but at the same time, why? If I had the option, I'm sure I would bring my cat out on stage with me, but the dog just looks scared. So it made me a little sad. I was like, shut up, Keanu Reeves, deal with your pupper. Like, take the doggo out.
I think he was just trying to shove down everyone's throats that he's John Wick, and he's in Cyberpunk 2077 now. Wait a minute.
Maybe it was like, so everybody's like, well, why his dog? Like, I mean, I get it. It's kind of funny to see John Wick walk out with a dog, but at the same time, you're at a gaming conference. That puppy does not want to be on stage.
It's Keanu Reeves' first time at a gaming conference. I suppose we shouldn't look too deep into a man who questioned AI in the first Matrix movie. You mean artificial intelligence?
All right. So yeah, Cyberpunk was a thing, and Cyberpunk looks really cool. It also looks like a choice-based game. There's a lot of stuff to it. There was a guy with a gold robotic arm who Kyle started calling Black Thanos.
You should have aimed for the head, man. I'm sorry for being racist.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make any jokes.
But yeah.
Ron will kick my ass.
Don't do that again. There was also a note about swearing. The trailers were all bleeped, yet for some reason, all the commentators on the stage had permission to yell out all the swear words without being bleeped at all.
Here's the thing. It was Microsoft who, for whatever the reason, censored their conference. And then Ubisoft didn't. Even Nintendo got a few swear words out.
Nintendo?
I heard them say
I mean, that is a swear word, but that's, I think, fairly tame compared to other swear words in our society. I mean, they allowed that.
I mean, it's still a swear.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I suppose, edgy enough to be in the Shadow the Hedgehog game for the PlayStation 2, so take that in as you will, I guess.
I remember every time they swore, because they, censored, I would go, oh, did he just say the word?
What else is there to mention about Ubisoft, though? There was just lots of stuff about Tom Clancy, re-releasing some classics, and that was just about it, right?
I don't care. We talked about everything that mattered.
Okay, so now let us finally move on to Nintendo! Woohoo! I'm gonna put on my...
Jesus, Callum, you got it wrong. It's Square Enix now.
Oh, sorry, Square Enix, of course, sorry, I messed that up, sorry. You'll have to wait, Nintendo t-shirts, you'll have to wait, my precious.
So now, here's the thing, this is one I can talk about, because as far as I'm concerned, going into Square Enix, they were winning. Like, I think Nintendo may have won this year, but Square Enix brought the heat. They at least got second place for me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they started off with Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Because I thought, they were going to start with Avengers and end with Final Fantasy. That way they guaranteed some cheers. Because I thought if the Marvel game, like the Avengers A-Day game, was bad, they would probably get boos. I have a lot to talk about that Avengers game. But let's start with Final Fantasy. Gosh, that looks good. I've never been a big Final Fantasy guy.
Neither have I.
Loved 15. I love Kingdom Hearts, but just watching the Final Fantasy VII gameplay, I gotta play that game. I gotta. I'm so excited to play that game.
Yeah, it looks a bit more action-oriented. I mean, We get the restrictions back in the day, but I think we're moving on past the usual menu system. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It works for Pokemon. It still works for Dragon Quest, and it certainly still works for several Final Fantasy games. But I think for this one, they're trying to immerse you even more like some kind of action movie. And usually quite cool to see a mix of genres. Yeah, it's succeeding. Usually cool to see a mix of genres of the sci-fi and the fantasy, and all these details.
You're gonna have to forgive me because I don't really know all of the names. I think the guy with the gun on his hand, I think his name is Bearer or something. But just like, the fact that you can switch to him as a character, and that you can switch to Cloud and all the other characters, like, that's really cool, and I can't wait to play. Like, you know, in Final Fantasy 15, I love playing as Ignis, Prompto, Gladios, and who's the other one? Like, I love the other one so much that I forget the main character.
Yeah, right, there we go.
Yeah, I like them, and they all play it very differently, but they all look similar. They all wear black, and, you know...
They are the men in black.
So, like with this, you know, Tifa and Cloud and Aerith and Prayer or whatever his name is, Bray or whatever, they all look really different, and the game itself just looks fun to play and really like, oh my gosh, the Final Fantasy VII fans have been waiting for a while for this.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to create more. Like, I mean, I've always been a Kingdom Hearts guy. Kingdom Hearts 3, a lot of people sort of jumped on the bandwagon.
Yeah, I did the same thing, yeah.
I might do the same thing.
For Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy. I mean, I was a fan of Kingdom Hearts since the first game came out, but...
Yeah, I mean, I did play the first Kingdom Hearts game, but I could not get over that difficulty curve, so I never played the entire series, unfortunately. So, when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, however, I jumped back into the fan base, I got caught up with the lore, and watched you play it, watched other people play it, and I really liked it. To the point where I even did voice impressions on my YouTube channel. Go check it out! Speaking of Kingdom Hearts, though, Neil...
I think we're on your channel.
Oh yeah, so we are.
Yeah, there was some Kingdom Hearts DLC. Look, it really speaks to something if you can make a trailer that shows a lot of gameplay, a lot of cutscenes, and still have somebody watching not know what the heck it is. I don't know what it is. I think it made the other characters playable, which is cool.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You get to refight some boss fights.
Got it memorized.
That's not the DLC I want. I want more worlds. Make a Marvel and Star Wars world. Go do that.
I think that's not going to be happening for some time. Maybe in the sequels. What I do want to see in Kingdom Hearts in the future is Treasure Planet, because think about it. Soaring on that spaceship, coming across the solar system from Treasure Planet. Think of the vast potential.
Well, too bad, Callum, because instead you get to play the boss fights again.
Yeah.
Only this time you get to be Blue Girl, Sora with an X in his name. You get to be Kairi. Even like just coming up with nicknames for the characters, it's confusing. You get to be Shion. Assumably, you probably get to play as Axel. Listen, this is a cool idea, but if you really want to commit to it, like when we played as Aqua, she was very different from Sora, so I like that. But if you're going to commit to this, make some characters playable that don't use Keyblades. Add some new movesets, like make Donald playable. Make Axel playable with his, circle blades.
I think Axel is going to be a playable character during that final battle segment anyway, so wish granted. But
he's going to use the King Blade. He's going to use
all that matters is you're going to go through the boss fight again, and you just got to memorize it, okay?
It's just going to be Sora. It's just going to be like a skin of what Sora did before, though.
Except now you get to play as the other characters. Except for Aqua and Riku.
So essentially, they're just putting their models. They're just putting like Axel's model.
They're
just. I don't know. Maybe they are doing a new moveset. I hope so. I hope they're doing a new moveset.
Maybe we get to see more of Axel and Kairi's training. That would be quite neat in Merlin's amazingly detailed forest area. That part, in terms of the graphics and the mood, was just magical, for lack of a better word. And there's some other details. Organization 13 seems to be bantering about mysterious stuff. I think Xemnas is onto Zigbar because, is it okay to spoil the post-credit scene of Kingdom Hearts 3?
No. Go play Kingdom Hearts 3.
And complete it 100%. You need to be a professional, or just cheat and just type it up on YouTube. I know you're going to do that.
Yeah, go cheat.
But play the game. Or cheat.
Go cheese. It's easy. Okay, so I think the topic of the hour, I think everybody wants to know my opinion, and I'm here to share it. Yes, I am aware that Hawkeye was not in the Avengers Square Enix game showcase. And yes, it is very likely that he is not in the game. And it is also disheartening to find out that the first DLC character is Ant-Man and not him. So I know what everybody's thinking. How do I feel? I feel hurt. I feel betrayed. I feel like everybody in the world doesn't understand how cool this frickin' character is except for me.
Yeah, just go watch
I feel like
the Avengers Endgame video of Reactaholics just to show why.
I feel like if Hawkeye isn't a DLC character, that I'm gonna go blow up Square Enix.
But they made Kingdom Hearts!
I'm not even joking. At this point, no, they're so mean. Everybody is being mean to Clint Barton, Hawkeye. And it needs to stop. Disney, you either give him his own movie or you give him a TV show. He better be in the Black Widow movie. Listen, this is a really cool character. And everybody is just underusing him and being mean. So please make him DLC. Please. Please, Clint. Please. Please get that in the game if he is. Okay, I think I'm done talking about Hawkeye. Now we can talk about the other stuff.
You don't have to make a DLC, that's fine.
But no, besides, the obvious mistake. Who is definitely the best Avenger. Just the idiotic mistake. I'm not going to go on a rant. It's a good game. Like, it's very interesting. The whole, the Avengers are sort of villains in the eyes of the public now. And Captain America is dead, and that's the first mission he dies. That's a really good premise, and there's a lot they can do with that. And a lot of the cast, I knew everybody in the cast. I love Travis Willingham as Thor. Laura Bailey as Black Widow now.
Laura Bailey, yes.
Nolan North as Iron Man and Troy Baker as Bruce Banner. I just think there's a lot of potential with this game. And they confirmed there's going to be several DLC superheroes. The DLC is free.
Now, I'm getting slightly confused. There's so many Avengers games. There's one where it seems like some kind of mobile game. You can have all the Avengers team up against all these villains. It's a top-down perspective. How is this game going to go?
Did you not watch the trailer, you dunderhead?
No.
Tell him this is one of the best things from E3. God. Okay. So essentially, this is it. The Spider-Man PS4 game?
Oh yeah, it's made by the same people, I heard, yeah.
It's gonna be like that.
Alright.
It's not made by the same people. It's not.
Oh.
But it's gonna be like that. It's gonna be a story-focused game.
Okay.
With a lot of Avengers characters.
Okay.
The rumor is, it's in the same universe as Spider-Man PS4.
Mm.
Okay. So, I'm gonna walk you through this, Cal.
Right.
In the trailer, there is, a bunch of shots showing off the Avengers, and then they're in San Francisco to celebrate Avengers Day and announce a new branch of the Avengers and a new Avengers Tower in San Francisco. So they're there, and this new helicarrier that Tony Stark helped invent is there. And essentially it gets blown up by Taskmaster and a few other villains. And long story short, Captain America dies in the explosion, and a lot of San Francisco is destroyed.
Yikes.
The Avengers are seen as criminals. Maybe not criminals, but they are shunned upon, and the event is called A-Day. So anyways, the trailer implies that the Avengers disappear for 5 years. Tony Stark grows his hair out. Everybody starts going underground. They hide from everything that's going on. And they're kind of criminals. But a new threat arises, and they begin to talk about whether or not they should get involved. So Tony goes to Bruce, and he's like, are the Avengers a threat or danger? That was the question. And they decide that they had to find a new threat. and we don't know what the new threat is, but we saw Taskmaster, we saw Abomination, so we can assume there are boss fights, maybe Hydra's involved, and the last shot of the trailer is this big thing coming out of the ground, and we don't know what it is, but my personal guess is it's this really stupid comic book character I love, called Fin Fang Foom. Maybe a more serious version of him. He's just a giant monster.
Okay. Fin Fang Fu. That sounds like a parody of Hong Kong Fooey. Fin Fang Fooey!
Well, I love Fin Fang Foom because his whole thing is he can talk, and he's a giant dragon thing with arms and legs. So he'll just go, "Do you really think you can destroy the massive Fin Fang Foom?" And he'll attack the Avengers, and he refers to himself as Fin Fang Foom. And it's really funny, because God, that's a stupid name.
That sounds so racist.
Scary dragon. You think it's racist?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I mean, maybe a little. Just maybe a little bit. Maybe. This giant dragon thing is not a racist to my knowledge. I mean, he might be. But,
anything else that was in Square Enix?
The last thing. Well, here's the thing, and this is probably the last thing I want to talk about with Square Enix. They announced that there's going to be a lot of DLC for the game. And essentially, how me and my cousin took that was, oh, the game got rushed, and they couldn't put in a lot of the stuff they were going to, so now they're going to slowly put it in updates. But the big thing they said about is there's going to be a lot of DLC characters, and all the DLC is free. And they even confirmed that the first DLC character is going to be Hank Pym Ant-Man, and it's going to be a reimagining of Ant-Man. Because instead of, having a shrinking suit, he's got a giant gun that shrinks people.
I've noticed his name's not Scott, so yeah, that's a different Ant-Man.
No, Hank Pym, in the comics, Hank Pym was the original Ant-Man, and then Scott stole his suit.
Oh.
In the movies, they actually reference that Hank Pym was Ant-Man, but he's not anymore in the comics.
Oh yeah, of course. Hank is the mentor figure in the film. Of course, yes, that's right, of course, yes.
I thought Scott was a more interesting character, and back in the 90s, Hank Pym beat his wife in the comics, so they didn't want to adapt anything bad.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, we can go to Nintendo now.
Okay, now I can put on the t-shirt.
It's good, though. They announced so much.
Including a Final Fantasy VIII remastering, apparently.
Yeah, so I think Nintendo can make one this year.
Alright, yeah. This is the Surf Stealer now. So, which game should we talk about first?
Well, I think we have to go in order and talk about the first Smash Brothers character they announced. Oh, the first one is the hero from Dragon Quest.
And they vary, apparently? So, there's Square...
Essentially, all his different skins are the other.
Ah, right. Alright, that's...
So,
the different games,
You play as the Vizizer or whatever his name is, the Visioner.
Even the Sentinel...
I don't care.
Even the Sentinel Angel from number 9? Because I distinctly remember number 9 being what I grew up with on the Nintendo DS, yeah. Nope.
I don't know, dude. I played Dragon Quest.
I only played that one game, yeah.
You know, it's just... Even they didn't want to screw around with the names, so they just call him the hero. His name is the hero.
Fair enough.
And here's the thing. I know nothing about this character, but I might actually play him. And the reason I might play him is because if you look at his moveset, he has a menu option where you can choose what his magic does, RPG style. And it's really
Yeah, just like an RPG.
He can shoot sleep blasts, and it's really cool. He has multiple options.
They're getting really creative.
Idea of the character.
They're getting really creative with the characters.
You can only do so much with Smash Brothers, so either they have to start doing weird, awesome, amazing things like that, or every character's going to be exactly the same.
Now, this is a wide variety of characters.
A lot of people are complaining
Of course.
about him because they're like, oh, it's another anime character who has a sword.
Yeah, I've heard friends talk about that.
Look at his moveset. Look at his moveset. He's using magic.
I've heard friends of mine complain about sword fighters, and they say, "Oh, no more sword fighters, no more sword fighters." And I was like, "I'm fine with sword fighters. I even customized my own Mii character as a sword fighter." And they say, "Yeah, pretty much do the same." What are you complaining about?
I mean, I'm not a big fan of sword fighters either. But
I am.
I have reached the point where every character I wanted in Smash Bros. Has gotten in, except for Captain N and Excite Biker, but those are never going to happen.
In your dreams. But hey, you know what? Sora might be in a... Yeah, Sora might be in a future... Sora might... I was going to say, Sora might be in a future game, because think about it, Square Enix has got themselves involved in
But I don't want Sora.
But you love Kingdom Hearts.
I don't. I like Kingdom Hearts. First of all, Sora... Here's the thing. I think if you did Sora, you couldn't do him right, because they wouldn't get permission to use Donald and Goofy. Like, I just don't think it could be done right.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know if Sora works in Kingdom Hearts. And there's a million other characters I would have rather had. The big one actually got announced as well. But he was the last thing. Well, no, actually, the Legend of Zelda sequel was. But yeah, let's talk about Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh, me and so many people were so happy. We're so happy that they're finally in it.
Here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
I didn't play the original Banjo-Kazooie.
Neither did I.
However, I've been a fan of Smash Brothers for years upon years, and every
Same.
time the game comes out, you see the lists, and everybody always mentions Banjo-Kazooie. Banjo-Kazooie is this Nintendo family character that should have been in Melee, but didn't get in because
Microsoft.
of Rare leaving.
Yeah.
And you know what? I would have preferred Conquer the Squirrel.
But Conker's the Deadpool version of Banjo-Kazooie. It just wouldn't work.
I think it could be made to work. Like, just, I don't know. But I like that Banjo is finally in because so many people wanted him. Like, this is just like, wow, this is where we've come with fandoming. Like, Banjo-Kazooie by far was the most wanted character
Characters.
in the Smash Brothers game.
Characters. Like Ice Climbers characters.
I'm gonna say character because Kazooie isn't actually fighting. She's sort of used as a gun and stuff. But, I mean, unless you want to say that the gun from GoldenEye is a character.
Hey, birds have feelings too, Neil. Birds have feelings. And, oh, I think your microphone...
Guns don't have feelings.
But birds, it's a bird. It's still a pet bird, though. But no, Banjo-Kazooie, it's another platforming icon, and I can see the love for it. It was very similar to Super Mario 64, and I get that sort of collectathon nostalgia. I haven't actually played any of the games, but I understand the nostalgia. And I understand how lovable they are, how memorable the music was with all the... And something that really got to me recently was the fact that JonTron is such a big fan of Banjo-Kazooie, and on Instagram, he shared a story of his reaction, and he was ecstatic. Similar to that one joke in Tally too. Yeah, John...
Nintendo and Masahiro Sakurai have done here is, essentially, they've taken a character that is so beloved that people are still requesting it decades after its relevance. And they brought it back from the dead. And just the idea that we've reached the point where this is possible.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought that Ridley would be a playable character, but the moment I saw that trailer, I had no idea, but they were in the lair, and then Samus was pointing the guns, then I saw her come in, and then the playable character, my reaction was, no way! No way! The fans actually did it!
I was sitting there during that E3 when they announced it, and the day before I sent into my group chat, I really think it's going to be Ridley. It only makes sense if it's Ridley. Because I knew there was going to be a new character. And when I actually saw it, and he, like, murdered Mega Man and Mario, it was glorious, because Ridley was one of those characters that everybody wanted too. And, you know, even Sakurai said it's not going to happen. So to see it happen, like, nobody said Banjo wasn't going to happen. But in the end, we all sort of assumed it wasn't going to happen because of the Microsoft situation, and...
But a God-blessed miracle happened, and here they are! Here they are as guest pass number 3. Well, technically number 4 if you count Piranha Plants. But my God. Yeah, number 3. Excluding Piranha Plants.
Number 3. Hero is number 2.
Excluding Piranha Plants.
Plant wasn't part of the fighter pass.
Yeah, fair enough. They've kept pushing themselves with how many characters they can get in with each new game. Whenever you thought they wouldn't be possible, boom, there's Solid Snake and Sonic. Okay, sure they couldn't get past that. Boom!
Callum, I asked that you put on your tinfoil hat with me for a second. I wanted you to think about something.
I can't find it. Sunglasses, they'll do.
Come on, we're gonna conspiracy theorize. We're gonna do some conspiracy.
I have a cup.
There you go. There, that'll work. Okay, so just go with me on this journey, if you will. The first character to be announced as DLC was Piranha Plant, which is really weird. But the second one was Joker, which is also really weird but cool. Now the third one being the hero, that sort of makes sense. But now Banjo is number 3. Joker was the first one of the Fighter Pass. Banjo is number 3. So who is the last one?
The last 2.
Because the last one, you're supposed to, I don't care about the next one. The last one. Who is the grand finale character? Because Banjo should have been saved for the last one. Because that should have been, hey look, you made this thing that was never going to happen. But Banjo is number 3. So who do they have that's bigger than Banjo and Joker?
Steve from Minecraft? He would make for a very creative fighter with all the blocks he can build on the stage.
No, shut up. No.
Steve is Minecraft is owned by Nintendo. No, it's on the Nintendo Switch.
No. We got Banjo. Shut up. It was either going to be Steve from Minecraft or Banjo, and we got Banjo. We got the better bet. Banjo-Kazooie is in Smash Bros. That's still
yeah,
to say.
Banjo-Kazooie. If I could just take a moment to think about Banjo-Kazooie and their history that JonTron mentioned. They were in such a golden age back in the 90s, and then they forgot to make the third one, and then they kind of pooped out nuts and bolts. Whilst not terrible, still lacked the same quality as the first 2 games, especially with the quirky car gimmick, which would have worked fine, but it just didn't mesh well combined with the fact that the game wasn't quite finished. And you can see JonTron's review for that. I think he perfectly sums it up in a comedic way, because JonTron is a hardcore Banjo-Kazooie fan, and his ecstatic reaction on Instagram was completely justified. He's still a big Banjo-Kazooie fan. If there were to be a game about JonTron...
I think JonTron understands what this means.
Yeah.
When a character gets into Smash Bros., it actually usually changes things. Look at the Fire Emblem characters. They were put into Smash Bros., and because of that, the games got ported to the United States. Look at the mother characters, like Ness and Lucas.
And Pet, and Kid Icarus, and Kirby. They were sort of forgotten, and then...
Yeah, and Pit.
Yeah, and then...
Pit was dead.
then got resurrected, as angels do. And the rest is history.
Here's the thing. This means that Banjo is now relevant again. King K. Rool is relevant again. And now they can pop up in other games.
Yeah.
Banjo can get his own game now, and even if nobody cares, there will be one kid who goes, "Oh, that's the bear and the bird from Smash Bros." And
I'm just thinking about Yooka-Laylee, which made a really good job of recapturing the magic of Banjo-Kazooie to the point where they're even making a sequel coming out soon on PlayStation 4. So yeah.
Yeah, Yooka-Laylee too.
Yeah, that would be lots of fun.
Here's my thing, and this is what I was leading up to. People are gonna think I'm crazy, but this is legitimately who I think the last Smash Brothers character is gonna be. I think it's gonna be Spider-Man.
Seriously?
Now let me explain.
You just said that Sora wasn't going to be available.
Hear me out.
The Spider-Man is not owned by Nintendo.
I understand. Neither is Banjo-Kazooie.
Yes, he was. He was on Nintendo GameCube. Banjo-Kazooie was on the Nintendo GameCube.
By then?
Yeah, but here's the thing. The characters have to be on a Nintendo system in one way or another. Even if it's an arcade game, that means that... Joker was on the Nintendo Switch. Cloud made it onto the Nintendo Switch systems. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
They did now after Smash Bros, but they weren't before.
Square Enix. Think about Square Enix. Square Enix was selling games on the Nintendo DS. You know, like Dragon Quest and Professor Layton.
Yeah, Square Enix, I guess. Marvel has a game coming out on the Nintendo Switch. Ultimate Alliance is coming out.
Licensing is going to be very difficult.
You just listen up, because I think I know how it's going to work. Here's the thing.
What?
This is why I think Spider-Man has a chance. I guarantee you, people have been requesting video game characters, like superhero characters, and cartoon characters. The big ones you hear about are Goku. You hear about...
oh no, you're one of those. You're one of those fanboys. Right, okay, here we go.
No, I don't want them. I don't want those. But hear me out.
Oh right, okay, that's...
Other characters in media. And because of that, I think that there is a chance, and there is a moveset there. I think there is a chance that they may take that and just sort of go, yeah, why not make this really weird, obscure character that would be cool? And before you say it's impossible, there is a Piranha Plant playable in Smash Bros.
A Nintendo-owned Piranha Plant! Nintendo-owned! It's got to be within Nintendo's capabilities.
Own Bayonetta. They don't own Sonic.
It was on their systems. It was on their systems. Bayonetta was on their systems. It was Bayonetta was on the Wii U. Square Enix owns Final Fantasy, and they were selling games on the DS.
Plenty of games on the GameCube.
Yeah, but I think licensing is
Nintendo game later this year. I don't want Spider-Man. I think it's possible.
You know what, Neil? If you are in fact correct, then I am gonna eat a chili. I don't know.
No, if I'm correct, you should have to eat a ghost pepper. On your channel.
Right, okay. I'll find something. I'll find something to that. Yeah. I was eating something quite spicy today.
I realize it's a stretch, but if Spider-Man gets in, you gotta eat a ghost pepper.
You know which character I really want to meet in the game? I mean, it might not, but you never know. Any character is possible at this point.
I don't want Spider-Man, but I think it's possible.
Neil, you want Spider-Man. You've talked about your love for Spider-Man ever since childhood.
I don't.
You do.
If somebody
Can't touch that, you do.
said, hey, Neil, who do you get... No, if someone said, hey, Neil, who do you want in fucking Smash Bros., my first pick would be Captain N, the Game Master. Because he could have a lot of references to the games that were played. Like, he could have, like, a Wii mote that's a sword. He could have the Zapper as a gun. He could use the Power Glove.
Yeah!
Like, I think Captain N would be a cool character.
Yeah.
That's who I would pick. If it's like, hey, Neil, you get to put someone in Smash Bros., Captain N.
And if it were me, I would...
want Spider-Man. I think he's possible.
So, you want him in, but at the same time, you don't want him in. I have a feeling that it's their childhood talking.
I don't want him in. I think he can get it. I think it is possible. It is not something I personally want, but I think it could happen.
Are you sure about that, Neil?
You better hope I'm not, or else you're eating a ghost.
Oh boy. Although, if I were to pick a character, I would happily pick Professor Layton anytime. And at first you're thinking, well, he's a kindly gentleman. He's not the violent type. True, he's not usually one to resolve problems with violence, but have you seen him wield a sword? He's going to be quite a unique sword fighter.
Well, here's the thing. I am not against Layton. I'm not.
Right.
But, if they're going to put him in, I think they have to focus on more than just the sword.
Yeah, it's puzzle solving.
I think they somehow have to put the puzzles into the game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Like, maybe you have to press the buttons in the right order, but if you do it, you'll do like a really powerful move.
It'll be very similar.
Like one of his moves is puzzle, and if you solve the puzzle, everyone will take damage.
Yeah. That could be like his final smash, like solving a puzzle, like, ching, ching, ching. And then everyone gets blasted away by his finger. It'll be very similar to Phoenix Wright in Marvel vs. Capcom, a joke character, but still quite an effective character. I mean, Phoenix Wright can fight with all the papers. Yeah.
Phoenix Wright is really cool, and therefore is better.
Oh, shut up. You and me, we need to stream Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright sometime, because I'm a hardcore Layton fan.
Objection.
Objection. Yes, but I think Layton would be really cool with his sword fighting, his puzzle solving, his flying car, and maybe some other features. That's who I would pick for Super Smash Brothers.
But, Smash is always the highlight of anything.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good Nintendo stuff. Like, I thought they won. Like, the thing I was most excited, like, before the show started, was I just wanted to see Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yes, let's talk about Luigi's Mansion 3.
And they talked about that in detail.
Yeah, they've added some new features.
There's a lot of cool new stuff you can do. Apparently, like, everybody is in the game. Like, Peach is in the game, Mario's in the game. It's in a hotel, and you get to see the hotel at daytime.
It's like a skyscraper.
Maybe more story to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the paintings are coming back. Mario's in a painting, they're all in a painting. I just really hope that the gameplay is as fun as the original Luigi's Mansion.
Oh, yeah.
I like Luigi's Mansion 2 Dark Mode. I did. But it wasn't my favorite. The first one was. And this one looks like it has cool boss fights. It has some great designs of the ghosts. It looks like it's really pulling from the original Luigi's Mansion. So I really hope it's good.
Yeah, I love the Luigi's Mansion series as well. Yeah, it's basically Resident Evil for children, and the concept is great. Just Luigi as a Ghostbuster. The first one was so atmospheric. The second one, it had some gameplay improvements and a bit more expansion. This one seems like it's still quite vibrant and more expansions, like the Gooigi. That's so creative. That just have this gooey version of Luigi pop out of your the backpack.
when you play the original Luigi's Mansion as a kid, it's actually kind of creepy. Like, everything's dark, there are these ghostly figures, some of them threatening you. Like, I remember there's this one character called Madame Clairvoyante, and she's like a gypsy, like she's a fortune teller. And it's super... Did you turn your lights off?
Yeah, I did, just to emphasize Luigi's Mansion.
Well, yeah, but it's creepy. And you got a flashlight.
Yeah.
Now just, this is like your spin-off game. Like, it's Callum's Mansion, and me, Mel, and Ron have been captured in paintings.
Neo!
I could be the Professor Egad character. And you just go, Kneale!
Neo! Oh!
Where are you in this mansion, Neo?
No, Chris is the one who's...
And I'm just like,
no, Chris is Professor Egad. He hands me the equipment.
Professor Egad. Instead of having Luigi, you have me, and a ghost. I'm the Polterpup character. I'm just a ghost who hangs out with you.
Ever since you got snapped away.
Yeah, you'll just go, Kneale! And I'm like, what, Callum? Are you still the Force Ghost? Yes!
But going back to Luigi's...
Go around. John is the final boss. Like, instead of King Boo, it's John Bailey. He's completely shirtless with a crown on his head. He just comes out King Boo style.
No, get away from me. Perfect, get away from me.
Did you guys watch Bumblebee?
Transforms into one of his Transformer characters.
Yeah, so Callum's Haunted Mansion. Be ready for that animation.
Luigi's Mansion 3, they're bringing back online multiplayer. It's going to be pretty big, and there's going to be lots of puzzles to solve, and Luigi can do all sorts of different things, creative boss fights. Nothing else to say, but it's Luigi's Mansion 3, and it's going to be great.
Looks good.
Spine cheating.
And no more heroes. No more heroes got announced.
Yes.
Like, No More Heroes 3, or whichever one it is. Like, I just remember sitting there going, God, I'm falling in love with this game. And I literally, like, looked at Kyle and went, oh, wait, Kyle wasn't there. I looked to my cat and went, I'm gonna have to dust off my Wii, aren't I? I'm gonna have to go play the other No More Heroes. And, like, gosh, it looks cool. Like, yeah, that's how Lemmy responded. Which, as you know, because me and Lemmy have a Pikachu relationship, where I can understand her, that meant, yeah, Kneale, you should totally go dust off your Wii, and also while you do that, fall down the stairs and die. Lemmy's very passive-aggressive.
So No More Heroes.
Oh, but yeah, it looked cool, right? Like, seeing Travis, like, I gotta say, this might be our best chance to get Travis touchdown into Smash Bros. The stars are sort of aligning, maybe it will happen.
Yes, there's a possibility. And...
Honestly, you want to know someone else I want in Smash Bros, Callum?
Who?
Someone else I want in Smash Bros, any Zelda character ever. Because there hasn't been a new Zelda character since Brawl.
Oh, yeah.
And that was Toon Link. The new Zelda character introduced in Brawl was another Link.
Yes, it was Link, Ganondorf, Zelda, Young Link, and Toon Link. Oh, and Sheik. And Sheik, yeah.
There was a time... Sheik was in Melee, though. Sheik, Ganondorf, and Zelda were all in Melee.
Yeah.
And Young Link.
Any of the champions would be great as competitors.
I don't care about the champions. Give us Skull Kid. Give us Kirihim.
Yeah.
I don't know, freaking what's that other form of Ganon? Like, Demise? Give us Demise.
Yeah.
Zant. I'll play as fucking Zant. Just give us someone.
But Kneale, they might have encountered a terrible fate, Kneale.
How about Skull Kid? If I got to pick and someone's like, hey, you got the Zelda character in the game, pick, I'd pick Skull Kid. I think he'd be the coolest one.
Don't you all wish that? You'd wish for Skull Kid as well as Super Mario RPG character, what's his name?
Alright, we gotta focus. We talked about No More Heroes. We talked about Link's Awakening with that really cool, like, toy art style.
It looks cute.
It looks cute.
That's it.
That's not it. I mean, the boss battles look fun. Okay, now it is it. There are rumors about a new Donkey Kong game coming where King K. Rool will reprise his role as the villain. But that has not been announced.
what has been announced is a sequel for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I'll take Zombie Ganon. Give me Zombie Ganondorf as a new Zelda character. Which, by the way, that trailer just, them reusing the assets from Breath of the Wild, showing a zombie character like Ganon, the weird music choice. Come on, you guys had to be thinking Majora's Mask.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, this is probably, there hasn't been many sequels within the Legend of Zelda series. Now, that's going to sound quite strange, but, with the complicated timeline, there's certain sequels with particular versions of Link. We haven't had that many sequels. There was the one with Ocarina of Time followed by Majora's Mask. There was one with Toon Link in the DS games, and now we've got Breath of the Wild, and this is really exciting because I love Breath of the Wild, and now they're going to go darker with Breath of the Wild. Sign me up. Sign me up.
And also, instead of Beast Ganon or what, I didn't actually finish Breath of the Wild. Does Ganondorf show up in that game at all, or is it just Beast Ganon?
It's pretty much just Beast Ganon, so this might be another version of...
Okay, well, that zombie was Ganon. That zombie body they showed, that's Ganondorf's decayed corpse. So Ganondorf will be the villain of the sequel.
Yeah.
In zombie fashion.
My gosh, that's gonna be creepy.
Listen, when I saw the Smash Bros. Trailer for the hero, not even kidding, since it was focusing on Link, I thought it was going to be Linkle. I thought they were going to make Linkle from Hyrule Warriors a playable character. And I was down with that. I was like, yes, Linkle, that's such a cool idea, she can use the crossbows. But then it was the hero from Dragon Quest. And that's cool, he looks cool, but at the same time, you got a new game coming out, Nintendo. You got this DLC going. If they do another Fighter Pass, where they do another 5 characters, which at this point, with how much money they're making, they might as well.
Get it 4 years.
The Fighter Pass is going to end in 2019, I believe, or early 2020. So, I can only assume that in 2020, probably towards E3, a year from now,
my gosh,
they'll announce another Smash Bros. Fighter. And if they do that, who the fuck are the next 5 characters going to be? I'm having trouble thinking of the single character who could beat Banjo. And the only thing I can think of is, well, it's got to be a character not from a video game. And if it's a character not from a video game, I think it should be a popular, franchise character. And the only one I can think of
is Spider-Man. Now wait, why would Nintendo go outside of the video game medium to get other characters into there? I mean,
that's the only way they're going to surprise people. Think about this. If they would have announced Dragon Quest character before Cloud, that would have been big news. Everyone would have been shocked. But now that Cloud is playable, now that Banjo is playable, now that a goddamn piranha plant is playable, you can't surprise us. They'll announce 2 years down the line, Goomba is playable, and we'll be like, yeah, we know. We did this with piranha plant. But, we're going to announce another character with a sword who's anime style. We got 12 of those. You can't surprise us. How about a thief character who uses a gun? Joker and Bayonetta got them both. Even Snake. Eventually, they're going to have to just go, okay, fine, fuck it, Spider-Man.
Well, with the Mii characters, you can kind of do that. But anyway, going back to...
I don't want a Mii Spider-Man. I want Spider-Man with his web shooters and his swinging and...
The grappling looks close enough.
And even have a counter move that's his spider.
But going back to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel, I've heard that many people, as much as they praised the game, there were a few critiques, and to be fair, this is their first time stepping outside the usual format of Zelda, and it really worked.
Callum, instead of saying Breath of the Wild 2, could we just call it Legend of Zelda, The Rise of Zombie Ganon?
Okay, fine. Rise of Zombie Ganon, yeah. The Rise of Zombie Ganon.
Or the Zelda Dead?
So, as I was saying,
Night of the Living Ganon.
yeah, Night of the Living Ganon. I'll go with that, yeah. Night of the Living Ganon, we'll go with it, yeah. So, as people kept saying, as good as Breath of the Wild was, and to be fair, this is the first time stepping outside the Zelda's formula, which was amazing, for it being open world, they said that there were certain parts that were lacking, they got frustrated about how easily the weapons would get destroyed. On the one hand, it makes sense because 100 years have passed, and of course these weapons were going to be out of date. But on the other hand, it did lead to some frustrations of how quickly they disintegrated. I've heard people And the idea of some smaller dungeons was great, but some people still wanted some bigger dungeons. But I suppose that was kind of what the big beasts were for. They're being creative. Give them credit. I just heard some fans saying it was great, amazing, but not exactly perfect. I heard them say. So Night of the Living Ganon might be a good opportunity to expand on that. And I'm just thinking, what more could they expand on? I mean, they already had an open world. Now they're going to.
Wait a minute, Callum. We're saying it wrong. It isn't Ganon. It's Zombie Ganondorf. So it's Night of the Living Ganondorf. Sorry, Zelda fans. Don't murder us.
Don't encapsulate us for hundreds of years, or send us to the moon or something.
Don't bring me back as a zombie. Just leave me as a Force Ghost in this mansion.
Don't transform me into a wolf, please. They're going to go dark, and I'm just thinking, what are they going to do with the world? I mean, they're keeping the same world. On the one hand, the same world's not going to be very surprising, unless there's some big event where everything gets messed up and Link and Zelda have to fix it somehow or something. Maybe make Zelda a playable character, I don't know.
Here's the thing. They used the same assets from Ocarina of Time and made Majora's
Mask, yeah.
Which a lot of people say Majora's Mask is their favorite. So I think just reusing the same aspects and doing a different game, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Look how it turned out for Majora's Mask.
Yeah, and in fact, for sequels in general, in whatever entertainment medium, I always see sequels as an opportunity to improve and to expand on a certain concept. That's what made The Dark Knight an excellent predecessor to Batman Begins. It was just amazing, and the Toy Story sequels and Empire Strikes Back. You know, sequels have so much potential, and obviously Night of the Living Ganondorf has vast potential to go on Majora's Mask. Night of the Living Ganondorf.
I don't care what they actually call it. It's gonna be something like, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, Breath of the Ganondorf.
Breath of too much curry.
Undead Breath of the Ganondorf.
Breath of too much curry.
Reawakening Breath. Oh, they should call it Reawakening Breath or something.
Breath of Morning.
Breath of Ganondorf, years after
Oh, dude, take a mint or something. Jeff, no, I can't.
Listen, I hope this game's good. Because I think it's gonna be good.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of people, here's the Zelda already with it has a lot of hype. Everybody's saying that Breath of the Wild was one of the best Zelda games ever made.
I along with them.
So the hype is doubled. But that means the expectations are also doubled. So they have to not only outdo Breath of the Wild and bring a brand new game, but they also have to live up to the expectations that Breath of the Wild set. They theoretically have to, you can't take away a lot of the stuff that you do in Breath of the Wild. So there still has to be a crafting system. There probably still has to be all of this open world option. And here's the thing, here's what I would do. I would just take the world that's already there, make it part of this game, but start the game in a different, in a newer section of the world, and make it even bigger.
Apparently they're going deeper into the castle, so that's new.
Alright, well, then the start. Also, a bunch of new amiibos got announced, a lot of them Smash characters, but one of them was Toy Link, as I'm calling him. The Link from Legend of Zelda, Reawakening, HD Remakes, whatever. Link's Awakening, HD Remakes.
Alright.
I'm trying to think of more. They got that Daemon X Machina game that I guess looks cool. It's a mech game. And they got that one game that I like. It's by the same people who do Bayonetta. And it's this game that sort of looks like you're some sort of law enforcement police force, and you're fighting against mutants or something.
Alright.
That looks cool. I don't know if they're demons, I don't know if they're mutants. But, yeah. Just everything was pretty good. I guess we should talk about who won Boris Scallon. Who won for you? Because Square was pretty good.
Yeah, to be fair, they were all spectacular, except for EA. And they all showed off in spectacular ways, probably Xbox more than anything, when they literally sawed their stage in half! And the Lego car, and Keanu Reeves, etc., etc. And their indie games, and Ori and the Will of the Wisps, that was fantastic. And Square Enix, I mean, they're guaranteed to have some great presentations with them. The Final Fantasy VII Remake, remastering Final Fantasy VIII, and the Kingdom Hearts DLC, that's a no-brainer. So I think it was Xbox, Square Enix, and Nintendo, and I'm just gonna let Charles today, Nintendo.
You know, I just thought of something. With Banjo and Kazooie joining the game, this now means we have 2 animal characters with big black noses, like round ball black noses, that carry birds on their back.
Oh yeah, Duck Hunt, yeah. They actually made that joke.
Yeah, Duck Hunt and Banjo. They made that joke, but at the same time, isn't it weird that there's 2?
Yeah. Similar to DDD and the
I
PK
never
rule.
really thought about that. I was like, oh, what a good joke. But then, now that I'm really thinking about it, how weird is that?
Yeah.
And also, just to talk about the Heroes trailer a little more, I thought all the evil versions of the characters, like, can we just get whoever is animating these trailers to make a Smash Brothers movie? Like, the story mode was lackluster, so can we just get a Smash Brothers movie, please, with that animator?
I mean, there was Subspace.
God, I would love that.
There was Subspace Emissary back in...
Subspace, dude.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Subspace is gone. They did this new thing. It wasn't like Subspace. There wasn't enough talking. Just take this animator, this animation studio, and make a goddamn movie. Because I love seeing these characters together, and I want to hear them, like, play off each other. I want to see a Subspace-style story. And since we didn't get that with, whatever it is, like Souls of Light, or whatever, World of Light, or whatever it was called.
Every soul contains a whisper of light, glowing there.
Colors
Even to a spiral flare, to sparkle to a
I used to know
pastel
that song word for word. It's like, on that day,
when sky fell away, our world came to an end. In our right, you know,
that was such a good song.
it was so hype. It really hyped you up to play.
Make that the theme song. God damn it.
The intros of Super Smash Bros. Never fails to hype you up for the fight, especially that song. And something I recently discovered. Ever seen the Cowboy Bebop movie? I recently played the Light song to the scene where Spike Spiegel is fighting Vincent near the end, and the song fits that scene so perfectly.
Alright, so how are we gonna end this?
Leo is confirmed as a new Super Smash Bros. Character!